Today, I want to talk about a truth that often goes unnoticed in our fast paced, information heavy world: the idea that people teach better than books. While books are powerful tools of knowledge, they are not the complete source of wisdom and understanding. It is through human interaction, shared experiences, and personal guidance that we truly grasp the deeper layers of learning. Books can provide facts, theories, and structured knowledge, but it is people, mentors, teachers, parents, friends, and even strangers who bring those facts to life. They add emotion, context, and relevance. A book might teach you about leadership, but a great leader will show you what it means to lead under pressure. A textbook might explain empathy, but it is only through people's actions that you feel what empathy truly is. Learning from people involves stories, emotions, failures, and successes. It creates a connection that no book can replicate. People give feedback, encouragement, and challenge your thinking. They offer wisdom drawn from experience, not just theory. And it is this experiential knowledge that often makes the biggest difference in shaping who we become. So while books are valuable and must never be ignored, we should never forget the unmatched value of learning from people. They are walking libraries of experience. They teach not just with words, but with actions, attitudes, and presence. Books offer knowledge, people offer wisdom. While books are filled with structured information, people offer practical wisdom gained through real-life experience. This difference is vital. One is learned, the other is lived. Conversations with others, asking questions, and receiving real-time feedback help learners internalize lessons far better than simply reading pages of a book. People share stories filled with emotion, pain, joy, struggle, triumph, which help anchor lessons in our memory more effectively than dry text. A mentor or role model shows us what success, leadership, or kindness looks like in action, turning abstract concepts into visible behaviors we can learn from. People connect lessons to current situations and individual experiences, making learning more practical, timely, and easier to apply. Unlike books, which present the same content to all, people can adjust their teaching based on the learner's background, questions, and pace. People share their own failures and setbacks, providing cautionary lessons and real examples of how to overcome obstacles, something books often sanitize. The lives and experiences of people can inspire us in powerful ways that books often can't. A story told face to face can move hearts, change minds, and ignite action. Books are an incredible source of structured knowledge. They provide definitions, formulas, historical records, scientific data, and philosophical ideas in a neat and organized way. They are written after years of research, often revised and passed down through generations as timeless vessels of human thought. But while they are essential for learning facts and understanding theories, books are ultimately limited to the information they contain and the interpretations of their authors. They speak in a fixed tone, unaffected by who is reading or what situation the reader is in. People, on the other hand, bring knowledge to life. They share wisdom that isn't always written in pages, the kind of wisdom gained from personal trials, real decisions, consequences, and countless moments of reflection. A person who has lived through failure and success, who has made mistakes and learned from them, can offer insights that no textbook can fully explain. Their words are shaped by experience, emotion, and a deep understanding of life's complexity. Wisdom, unlike knowledge, isn't just about what to do. It's about knowing when, how, and why to do it. People teach these subtleties in ways that books simply cannot replicate. When we engage in direct interaction with others, whether through conversation, discussion, debate, or storytelling, we unlock a form of learning that is dynamic, responsive, and personal. Human interaction allows for clarification in real time. If we don't understand something, we can ask a question and receive an immediate response tailored to our level of understanding. This back and forth exchange sharpens our thinking and deepens our comprehension far more effectively than passively reading a book. I knew a book. Through interaction, ideas are not just explained, they're explored. We gain multiple perspectives and are exposed to different interpretations that challenge our assumptions and broaden our thinking. Unlike a static paragraph on a page, a conversation can change direction, follow curiosity, and adapt to emotional or intellectual needs in the moment. In classrooms, mentorships, or even informal conversations, learning becomes more fluid and flexible, addressing not only what we learn, but also how and why we learn it. Moreover, human interaction often brings a sense of connection and engagement that motivates deeper attention. When we feel heard, understood, and encouraged, we become more invested in the learning process. People can sense when we are confused or losing interest, and they can respond with empathy, examples, or encouragement to pull us back in. This personalized attention forms a powerful bridge between knowledge and understanding, helping information settle more permanently in our minds. Emotions play a profound role in how we absorb, retain, and connect with information. And this is where learning from people often outshines reading from books. While books can explain a concept with precision, they usually lack the emotional depth that makes learning memorable. When someone tells us a personal story, expresses passion, or shares a struggle they've overcome, it sparks an emotional response within us. That emotional engagement makes the lesson more vivid, more relatable, and far more likely to stay with us. For example, a book might describe the idea of resilience in clear terms, offering definitions and examples, but hearing someone recount how they picked themselves up after a devastating failure, how it felt, what they thought, how they coped, transforms that abstract idea into a lived reality. It becomes something we feel, not just something we know. These emotional experiences activate empathy and help us see the human side of knowledge, which creates a lasting impression on our memory. Furthermore, emotional storytelling creates a connection between the learner and the teacher. This bond builds trust and makes the learning environment more open, where curiosity and vulnerability can thrive. It also allows us to mirror emotional cues, learning not just intellectually, but socially and emotionally as well. The tone of voice, facial expressions, and body language of a passionate speaker often communicate far more than written words on a page ever could. In this way, emotions act as a catalyst, turning passive learning into an active, impactful, and personal journey. Mentorship and role models play a transformative role in education because they offer more than just information. They provide an example to follow, a standard to aspire to, and a real-life demonstration of how knowledge is applied with integrity, resilience, and purpose. While books can outline principles, strategies, or philosophies, a mentor embodies those lessons in their daily actions, decisions, and interactions. They are living proof of what it means to live out the values and skills we often only read about. A mentor doesn't just teach what success looks like. They also show us the habits, mindset, and sacrifices required to get there. They help us avoid pitfalls by sharing their own mistakes and how they learned from them. They offer encouragement during setbacks and celebrate our progress, providing both emotional support and practical direction. Unlike a book which remains silent when we struggle, a mentor can sense our doubt, ask the right questions, and guide us back on track. Role models also influence us through silent teaching, the way they handle pressure, how they communicate with others, how they face adversity. These subtle, non-verbal lessons are often the most powerful. They teach us character, discipline, humility, and confidence without needing a single chapter or paragraph. Just observing someone's behavior in real-world situations can offer more insight than hours of reading theory. What makes this form of learning so effective is that it feels real, immediate, and attainable. It narrows the gap between where we are and where we want to be. Seeing someone else's journey with its highs and lows gives us the courage to believe in our own. Through their example, mentors and role models remind us that growth is not just possible, but within reach, and that learning is not confined to classrooms or pages, but thrives in relationships and lived experiences. One of the most powerful advantages of learning from people is their ability to connect lessons directly to real-life situations, making the information more relevant, timely, and easier to grasp. Books often present concepts in a generalized or theoretical way, which can feel distant or disconnected from our personal circumstances. But when someone teaches us through the lens of real-world examples, especially examples drawn from their own experiences or tailored to our environment, the lesson suddenly becomes practical and applicable. It's no longer just a concept, it's a tool we can use right away. For instance, a business textbook might outline negotiation strategies in a rigid, step-by-step format. But a seasoned entrepreneur can share how those strategies actually play out in a high-pressure deal, how to read a person's body language, how to adjust tactics in real time, and how to recover from a negotiation gone wrong. That kind of contextualized learning builds deeper understanding because it reflects the unpredictable, nuanced nature of real life. It also helps learners develop judgment, adaptability, and decision-making skills that go beyond the page. Moreover, when someone teaches us within our specific context, our culture, challenges, goals, and resources, they can personalize the message to meet us where we are. This creates a sense of relevance and urgency. We begin to see the why behind the knowledge, not just the what. Learning in this way increases our motivation because we see how the lesson connects to our goals, our growth, and our everyday challenges. In this way, people bridge the gap between information and application. They draw on their lived experiences to highlight how concepts work in reality, how they evolve over time, and how they can be adapted for different circumstances. This real-life context transforms abstract ideas into useful tools and turns passive knowledge into active skill. One of the most distinct advantages of learning from people is their ability to adapt their teaching style, content, and approach based on the learner's unique needs, background, and level of understanding. Books, no matter how well written, present information in a fixed format. They cannot pause, clarify, rephrase, or adjust based on the reader's confusion or curiosity. But a human teacher, mentor, or guide can sense when someone is struggling or when a concept hasn't fully landed, and they can instantly shift their explanation to suit the moment. People use observation, feedback, and interaction to fine-tune the way they deliver knowledge. If a learner is more visual, they might use diagrams or real-life demonstrations. If someone prefers stories, they might explain the concept through narrative examples. If the learner needs more time, they can slow down, repeat, or break it into simpler terms. This personalized attention is incredibly valuable, especially when tackling complex or abstract ideas that require careful breakdown and discussion. Moreover, people can recognize and respond to emotional and psychological cues. They can offer encouragement when someone feels discouraged, ask questions that stimulate deeper thinking, and adjust their tone or language to build confidence. This kind of emotional intelligence is something books inherently lack. A skilled teacher knows that learning is not only intellectual but also emotional, and they guide with patience, empathy, and care. Adapting to the learner also means being culturally aware and situationally responsive. A mentor can relate concepts to a person's community, values, or daily experiences, making the lesson feel more meaningful and grounded. This connection helps learners stay engaged and motivated as they feel seen and understood rather than just instructed. One of the most powerful aspects of learning from people is gaining access to their mistakes, failures, and hard-earned lessons, something books often gloss over or present in a sanitized, idealized way. People, especially those who have walked a certain path or mastered a skill through struggle, offer real-life insights into what can go wrong, how it feels when it does, and what it truly takes to recover, adapt, and move forward. This kind of learning is not theoretical. It's raw, honest, and deeply instructive. When someone shares a story of failure, they are giving you the opportunity to understand the hidden pitfalls that books might not fully reveal. You learn not only what to do, but also what not to do, and perhaps more importantly, why things didn't work out in the first place. These cautionary lessons are invaluable. They go beyond formulas and blueprints. They teach resilience, critical thinking, and adaptability. They help learners see that mistakes are not the end, but rather essential parts of the journey. In real-world learning, failure isn't something to be feared. It's a tool for growth. People who have stumbled and stood back up again show us that setbacks are survivable and often necessary for real development. They demonstrate how to analyze a mistake, reflect on it, and extract meaningful insight. This process builds emotional strength and teaches us how to make better decisions moving forward. Additionally, when people are transparent about their struggles, it builds trust and connection. It creates an environment where learners feel safe to take risks, ask questions, and be vulnerable, knowing that perfection isn't expected and growth is the real goal. This kind of environment is difficult to cultivate through books alone, but it flourishes in human interaction where empathy, humility, and experience are shared openly. Human stories have an unparalleled ability to inspire, ignite change, and stir something deep within us. Unlike the written word, which often communicates in a logical and structured way, stories told by real people come alive through emotion, voice, expression, and presence. They do more than inform, they transform. When someone shares their personal journey, including the hardships they've faced, the choices they've made, and the victories they've earned, it resonates with us on a personal level. It makes us believe that change is possible, that growth is real, and that we too can overcome what seems impossible. Books may present case studies or biographies, but the impact of hearing someone speak their truth in real time is far more powerful. It feels immediate, relatable, and human. We see their eyes light up when they speak about a dream, hear their voice tremble when they recall pain, and feel their conviction when they talk about their purpose. That emotional transmission can shake us awake, push us out of complacency, and fill us with courage. It's in those moments of connection that we often find the strength to act, to pursue our goals, change our habits, or shift our mindset. Inspiration drawn from people doesn't require perfection. In fact, we are often more moved by those who are honest about their imperfections, who reveal the cracks in their journey rather than hiding them. These stories help us accept our own flaws, give ourselves grace, and still strive forward with determination. They remind us that greatness isn't about being without failure, but about rising through it. The energy of a lived experience shared from the heart can serve as a spark, a turning point in someone else's life. This kind of inspiration, deeply personal and emotionally rich, is something that no book, no matter how brilliant, can fully replicate. In the end, while books remain vital sources of information and knowledge, they are only part of the learning journey. And the real transformation happens when we connect with people, when we listen to their stories, witness their experiences, and learn from their wisdom. People breathe life into lessons, offering perspective, emotion, and relevance that pages alone cannot provide. So as we pursue knowledge, let us not overlook the incredible teachers all around us, our mentors, parents, friends, and even strangers, because in their lives are the lessons that truly shape who we become.